What's up, Bill?
Nice to talk with you guys. We are en route at this very moment to Nashville. Usually it's a bachelor party that we're going to in this town, but instead it's a good football game tomorrow to kick things off.
Is this a road trip, or are you guys about to board a flight? How's this working for the announcing team?
We are actually driving it. It's not that long of a drive from Blacksburg for us. The rest of our crew, my spotter, Carter, he's flying out of Dulles, and Johnny, our other person on our crew, is flying out of Richmond. But we're just making the drive. We've got the SUV loaded up.
I'm going to guess there's going to be big Hokie representation there. I think it's about 6-hour drive from Blacksburg to Nashville. What are we expecting in the stands as far as the Hokies?
I agree. I think it will be a pro-Virginia Tech crowd tomorrow. Vanderbilt is remodeling its stadium, so I think a lot of their fans want to come in and take a look at it just because they spent a lot of money over there to remodel. They've added their one end zone facility that I'm actually eager to see as well, because that stadium is, it's an older stadium, and they've spent a lot of money to make it look nicer. But, yes, I do think it'll be a pro-Tech crowd.
Yep. I know so many people are going, including myself, Bill.
Nice. So we're going to see you on Broadway tonight?
I'll be on Broadway. It depends on when I get there. I'm hearing my flight's delayed already, so it kind of depends on when I get there.
And he likes to go to bed early, too, Bill. So if you're out late, I wouldn't expect to see him out late
Well,
tonight.
Bill's got to get up early, too. 11 a.m. kick tomorrow.
Yeah, we go to Central Time Zone for the game. We've got a great schedule this year. We've got road games. We got road games in Nashville and Miami and San Francisco. It's going to be a fun few weeks. You're traveling all over the place, but Nashville's a really good place to do just about anything, and I'm looking forward to being over here.
All right, so let's talk about – we had Coach Pry on last week, I think, and he's obviously very high on this team. They return a bunch of starters. I think at one point it was 21 of 22. Maybe it's 20 of 22. Add some guys in the portal who are going to be starters as well. You get Allie Jennings back because he got hurt in that Purdue game, which crushed them. I mean, the receivers are healthy with Felton and Lane and Jennings. And then, of course, it's all about drones, Kyron Drones. Didn't complete a high percentage of passes last year, but
no turnovers.
Didn't turn the ball over, and he ran for 10 touchdowns. So he's the typical dual threat QB. Do you think he's going to get better as a passer this year?
I think the one thing that they've asked him not to do is lose games. His percentage wasn't good, but his efficiency was in terms of his TD to interception ratio. He threw 17 touchdowns and only 3 picks. And he's good at throwing the ball away and not taking sacks. And he's just such a good runner. And he's legit. He spent the summer working out with some really good quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders of Colorado and Cam Sexton down in Miami, and they spent the whole summer down there working out in Coral Gables, and he came back a even stronger guy. I think he's got a chance to have a really, really good season for Virginia Tech. You're right. It all starts with the QB, and we haven't had a guy like this guy in, I'd say, 20 years at Virginia Tech, so I'm excited to see him play.
Do you think they're a little ahead of schedule or about where you expected in Pry's third season here?
Year 3 is always such a big year for coaches, but the portal has really accelerated things. You guys know that, Ollie Jennings was in the portal. Drones was a portal guy. Bashal Tootin, the tailback, he's a portal guy, and they did a really nice job. Aeneas Peoples played for Duke the last couple of years, was an all-conference, all-ACC defensive tackle. He's going to start tomorrow for Virginia Tech, and it's the ultimate free agent signing. Kelvin Gilliam from Oklahoma is going to play tomorrow for Virginia Tech. This guy – last year he's playing for the Sooners, and now he's going to play tomorrow for Tech. And I think that we saw that last year a little bit as well. You guys know Antoine Powell-Ryland transferred into Virginia Tech from Florida, had 9.5 sacks. And I think they've done a really nice job. They're not building the team through the portal as hard as, say, Florida State has done or even what Colorado has done, but they picked and choose some really interesting guys that had a tie to Virginia or a tie to Pry or someone on the staff that they already knew him, and I really like what they've done. So if you're asking me if they're ahead of schedule, probably, but at the same time, there's some quick fixes out there if you can win in the portal, and I think they've done that.
Just looking at like the first month, where obviously Vanderbilt tomorrow down there in Nashville, Marshall, Old Dominion on the road. All right. It's obviously not easy to go on the road, especially since we lost to them a couple of years ago, but we're much better now. And then Rutgers at home, and Rutgers coached well. Greg Schiano coaches well. Got a pretty good defense usually. But I feel like that's a good start. I mean, that's a good schedule to start in the first month because those two home games, Marshall and Rutgers, I think you got to win those. So how are you feeling about the first month?
If they stay healthy, I think they'll be good. They'll probably be favored in each of those games. You like your chances. I mean, they're probably going to be favored in just about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 games anyway. I think that they got a chance to have a really nice season if they can stay healthy. You know, you guys know last year against average defensive lines, they had big offensive numbers. If you look at the Syracuse game or Pitt or BC or UVA, you know, they were putting up 500. BC game, 600 yards. They ran the ball. But when they played their really good teams, when they played Florida State, when they played Louisville, the NC State game, they had a hard time moving those guys. So I think that my question, like, it's really what I want to see tomorrow, like, because the whole offensive line is back.
Right.
They're good, but can they take that next step? Because that makes a difference. Because you guys mentioned they got the receivers, they got the back, they got the quarterback. If the O-line can get good push against good teams, and we're going to find out because there's some good defensive lines. I mean, Vanderbilt's not a great – we know Vanderbilt what it is, but they are an SEC team, and they compete against SEC teams every week. So they're going to see a good defensive front tomorrow in Nashville, and I want to see what they can do. I think, you know, Vanderbilt's got a quarterback, the Diego Pavia kid who transferred in.
Yeah, he can run.
Really, really good. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know that it's not the same Vandy team that was 2-10 a year ago because they did the same thing. I mean, they went to the portal and got a bunch of new players. So I'm really excited to see how the Hokies play tomorrow. And it's just great. I love college football. It's Labor Day weekend. There's some great games in our league tomorrow, a bunch of ACC, SEC games tomorrow. We've got one in Nashville. There's a big one down in Gainesville with the Canes, big one in Georgia with Clemson visiting Georgia. So it's a big ACC, SEC day tomorrow.
Yeah, how are you feeling about the Hokies kind of stacked up against the rest of the conference? You mentioned the schedule, and I think the schedule is favorable. You know, it really is.
I don't know who the best team in the ACC is.
Yeah, it's gonna be a toss-up. I do believe, especially after seeing what Georgia Tech did to Florida State.
It may be Georgia Tech. I don't know. I mean, I watched NC State last night, and they really struggled with Western Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked at that. And they've got a new quarterback, the Grayson McCall kid transferred in from Coastal Carolina. I thought NC State would come out blazing, and they didn't. You know, Florida State at the end of the day, Florida State and Miami have so many good players that at the end of when we're talking in December, we might go, yeah, Florida State, they messed up against Georgia Tech and Ireland in week 0, but they ended up being great. It could happen, but as of today, I don't know who the best team in our league is. And that's what I'm saying. It might be the Hokies.
Oof.
Ooh, that's
Hope
good.
you're right.
I'd love to hear that.
All right. Hey, safe travels, Bill. See you down there, man. Have a good weekend.
You too. Yeah, hope your flight gets in on time, and we'll see you on Broadway, or if not, at the stadium tomorrow morning.
All right, yes, sir.